unofficial Universal Orlando podcast is a member of the Mice Chat Podcast Network. MicePod.com. Now, discover the universe, one theme park at a time.
Greetings, Universal fans! This episode was made possible by Fairy Godmother Travel and the Producers Club. So let's join the gang as we discover more about the Universal Orlando Resort, as well as Universal Studios Hollywood, Japan, and Singapore.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 164 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. I am Lee, and joining me tonight is Darren.
What's up, Internet?
You sound a lot more alive than I thought you would be after two very long weekends at Halloween Horror Nights, Darren.
Yeah, I'm running on fumes right now on Mountain Dew, so...
So, Hunter's not here, so what's his excuse?
Surprise, surprise.
As you say, he must be out fighting crime or he's at Disney.
Yeah, one of the two.
He might be here. He said he may be here at some point in the next 25 minutes, but we'll see. Tracy is not joining us tonight because she's very, very poorly. She's not well at all, so it's just the two of us, but we do have a guest. So I would like to welcome Stephen. I'm not even going to try and pronounce your surname, but you are from the Extended Q podcast, so welcome aboard.
I am, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Go on, what is it?
It is Krstulich.
There you go.
Stephen Krstulich. And I mean, even my wife, for the first 6 months we were dating, she didn't even try. It was just, yeah. She couldn't pronounce it. Certainly couldn't spell it because it's just because it's a ton of consonants followed by the occasional vowel.
Yeah, well, we were supposed to have Tiffany on a couple of weeks ago, which will happen at some point, and she said,
"It'll happen, yes.
Just call me Turner."
Yeah, the schedule that she's had has been very, very strange, but it will normalize soon, and then she will definitely be joining you guys at some point.
Awesome. We are looking forward to it, but for now, this is about you, not her. No offense, Tiffany, if you are listening.
Yeah, Tiffany, go away.
I'm not allowed to.
I'm just kidding. Don't. She's the best.
Right. So, Stephen, the reason we invited you on, just like your good lady wife, you worked as a team member at Universal Orlando for quite a while, actually. Mm-hmm. Would you like to let everyone know when you worked at Universal and what you did when you were there?
I started in November of 1999, long time ago, 16 years ago. And my first job at Universal, which is actually my first job, period, because I had just turned 16, was working at the Jaws ride.
Awesome.
As a skipper. And I worked there for about 2.5 years, just kind of on weekends and holidays and summer break when I wasn't in high school. Mm-hmm. But once I turned 18, I had transferred over to the entertainment department, the tech entertainment department, as a stage assistant at the horror makeup show. I also eventually became one of the drivers of the character trolley that goes around the park that does meet and greets with the Nickelodeon characters as well as the Flintstones and Popeye and Olive. And then I also worked the Star Toons show and Kid Zone. I worked the Animal Actors show. I was on the closing crew of Nickelodeon Game Lab, and I was on the opening crew as a video tech for Fear Factor Live. And interspersed in all that, I would also work events like Mardi Gras and Rock the Universe and Halloween Horror Nights.
So quite a lot then.
Yeah, and then all that was in a span of about 9 years. I left in May of 2008 to move out here to Las Vegas, and I've been here ever since.
Very cool. In all the time you were there, then, Stephen, what was a position you held that you enjoyed the most?
Honestly, probably working at Fear Factor, which I feel like a lot of people would find strange, just because I feel like a lot of people, especially fans of the park, guests of the park, really don't like that show.
Well, I'll let you into a secret. We're doing the top 5 worst attractions at Universal Orlando, and that's in our top 5 at the moment.
I'm not shocked. However, I will say that just on a behind the scenes standpoint, just working on that attraction, and especially being on the crew and kind of helping to build the attraction. Working on that show is so much fun, and it really helped that we just had a crew that kind of got along as a family.
Yeah.
So you have the host and the producer, you have the casting people, you have the video guys, you have the riggers, you have the bug people, you have, just that whole group really was a family. And I mean, especially even from like working at Trolley, where like you're in a trailer with like all these animated characters and all these atmospheric characters. It's all, I don't want to say it's cliquish, but certain people hang out with certain people and like they kind of keep to themselves. But Fear Factor, we just always did stuff together, and that's also where I met my wife Tiffany.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. At the time, we were just friends. She was working in wardrobe at Fear Factor, and it wasn't until a couple years after I left that like she actually kind of flirted with the idea of moving out to Las Vegas to kind of do the same thing that I was doing. And when she moved out here, we became closer, started dating, got engaged. Now we've been married almost 3 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool, though, because it means then now you've both got the same interests as well, which always helps.
Yeah.
That's why Tracy and I are still together as long as we have been.
Yeah, which and it kind of mirrors it kind of mirrors my parents in the way that they met, because they actually met working together at Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom in Florida back in 1981.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because I'm going to encourage everyone to listen to this. If you don't listen to the extended queue, go and listen to that episode where you had your parents on, because the story about the People Mover is hilarious.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's episode 6, I think. It's the back in my day working in Tomorrowland 1981, and they had so many stories. And I'm actually hoping that we can have him on the show again, because my dad is a former Imagineer. I mean, even though he started out working, in like the attractions, he eventually made his way through the IT group within Disney, and then eventually in the early 90s he transferred over to Imagineering and was part of the install team on Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. I think like that was the first big one that he worked, which is hilarious if you know him, because he is very much afraid of heights. Okay. and the computers were at the, I think, 180-foot level.
Oh,
wow.
and I think the construction elevators only went up to like floor 9 or something like that. So like everything beyond that is stairs and ladders.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I could not do that.
No. How did you end up working at Universal then? Did you go into it with your eyes open, or was it a case of just falling into the job?
Well, I mean, certainly growing up in Florida, and I mean, I was born and raised in Orlando, so I can't even remember a time where like the theme parks were not part of my life. So I certainly knew that, hey, at 16, I want to get a job working in a theme park makes the most sense to me. I knew I didn't want to work at Disney, because certainly at that time, my dad, having worked for Disney for, at that point, close to 20 years, he had a lot of not great stories. Just because certainly when you work at any place, and I mean, really, as I've learned now, it's any job. Even your dream job, you're going to have terrible days. And, usually you come home and like you got to vent to someone. So vent to the people that are in the house. So naturally, as a kid, all I took it as was like, wow, Disney must be just a bad place to work. So like I said, well, I'm not going to work at Disney. I'm going to work at Universal because I love going to Universal. So I went there, and I had my sights set on working on the Jaws ride, working at a spieling attraction. And back then, when you applied, like nowadays, it's all you apply online.
Yeah.
But back then, you actually had to go to the human resource office in person. You go there, and when you filled out the application, you were allowed to put your top 3 choices as to where you wanted to work. And for me, I really wanted to do a spieling attraction, but I really wanted to do Jaws. So my number 1 choice was Jaws, and my number 2 choice was Confrontation, and my number 3 choice was Earthquake. As those were the main 3 spieling attractions.
Yeah,
gone, and gone.
Right. And at the time, my mom was actually already working at Universal. She was working at the Triceratops Encounter as a spieler, and she had also worked at Disney for a long time, but she had moved over to Universal actually for Halloween Horror Nights back in, I think it was 99, as a clown's character in Amity.
Cool.
Oh wow.
And then from that she made her way over to Triceratops Encounter, and then so once I did that application, they said, well, there's actually an opening at Jaws. I'm like, oh, cool. And so they had me meet with a woman who, I want to say she's actually still there. I'm not entirely sure, though, because it's been forever since I've seen her. But her name's Mimi. She was the spieling coach for Universal property wide. So so if you went to a spieling attraction, be it Jaws or Kong or Earthquake, or at the time Hitchcock was a spieling attraction, and then Triceratops and JP Discovery Center, they all had to go through Mimi. Mimi was the one who said, yes, you can do it. Oh, and the Island Skipper Tours, those boats that went around the lagoon at IOA that are long gone.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was also spieling. And I remember she gave me kind of a truncated version of the Jaws script. It was like a page and a half. It pretty much hit like all the major bullet points. You know, like, welcome aboard, and then you suddenly get the distress call from Amity 3, and then the shark shows up, then you're in the boathouse, and the thing blows up, and then you're at the gas dock. And I mean, all that was within like a page and a half. It was a really truncated version. And she gave it to me and said, okay, I want you to give me your best reading. So like, it was kind of an interview / audition. It was definitely not like an audition. But I mean, cause like she was at her desk and I was sitting, you know, across from her and just kind of reading it. But then, she kind of gave me some pointers and said, okay, I want you to try it again. But on this one, I want you to show a little more emphasis here, a little more passion here. You know, and so did it again, then did it one more time. And then she said, all right, you're hired.
Okay.
All right.
And I mean, and it's so weird because like now whenever you apply for a job, it seems like you put in the application, you hopefully hear something back, and then a few days later you find out if you got the job. Whereas this, I went in, applied, had my interview, had my audition, and accepted the job in one afternoon.
That's funny. I mean, you heard that from back in the day, Universal, like Mike Aiello when we had him on. He talked about that, you know, started off as the Jaws skipper too, and going on, and just how you were able to advance through the ranks. Now they said that, you know, you can't do anything like that. You can't put your hat in. Like you said, you have to apply, wait, see if you get it, you know, and move on from that. But
I'm not a fan of that. Yeah.
Oh no, definitely not. It takes a lot of the personality out of it, and I think it makes it very corporate.
My current job out here in Las Vegas, I work for Cirque du Soleil, and I think from when I applied for that job to when like they called me and said, "Hey, it's yours. You start on this date," it was about a month.
Wow.
And I mean,
it's quite a difference.
Yeah, but really, that's kind of the norm out here, because I feel like a lot of jobs out here, it's all like, hey, you know, okay, you apply, and then like several days later, they say, hey, you know, they want to meet with you for an interview, and like a lot of times there's a second interview, a third interview, especially for something like Cirque, where they're, you know, where they have to be very, very picky about who they choose, just because you know it's not just doing a big show, but like you do have people's lives in your hands, just because like they're you know there's a lot of really intense acrobatics and so forth. So you got to make sure that the person you're choosing absolutely knows what they're doing. And then after that, you have to go through the whole, the whole like background screening and all that. And then once that all comes back, then you can say, all right, cool, we'll bring you on. Because I don't think Universal really did a background screening from what I remember. Maybe they do now, but back then I don't think they did.
Probably not. Do you still remember much of that Jaws spiel then? Because I've got a friend, Roman, who used to work there, and he still remembers it, and he hasn't worked there for donkey's years.
I can probably remember parts of it. Is this going to be like a on the spot performance? Or?
Hey, if you feel like doing it, I won't stand in your way.
Oh boy!
What was your favourite line from it?
Oh my goodness. There was one line just because I thought it was super silly, especially when I got it wrong once. It is in scene 2. It's when the shark, or it's like, okay, it's like you've just come around the corner, you see Amity 3 sinking there, and then the first shark fin comes up, and he's moving toward your boat, and it goes under the boat, and then fin 2. By the way, spoiler to everyone out there, they're actually 2 separate shark fins. It's not the one shark. I'm sorry, everyone. So it goes under the boat and then comes back up. But then the line is, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And like they were so strict on that spiel. Like you had to say, oh my gosh. You couldn't say, oh my God. You couldn't like change it anyway. Had to be, oh my gosh. And you had to say it 3 times. And there was certainly a lot of things within that spiel. Like they were saying, you are not allowed to deviate at all. Now, naturally, people deviated because when you work there for a long time, part of your brain needs to deviate. Otherwise, it's just going to kind of lock down and just start focusing on like other things. And then, you know, but there were a couple times that I slightly deviated from the script, thinking that no one was listening. Ooh. And I remember like just like as a joke one day, like I think rather than 10-4, I said okie dokie. and as we're going through the boathouse, so the Spielers, they have that headset on, which is their mic, so the people on the boat can hear. But it also has the radio feed going through your earpiece, so that if something goes wrong, you can contact with tower, you can contact with the lead, and that they can talk to you. And as I'm going through, I think someone had called the lead to just like ask him a question, and then he responded very, very cheekily, "Okie dokie," which was pretty much his way of letting me know I heard you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's like Darren said there. That's why Mike Aiello got kicked off from going off script all the time.
I actually got taken off boat for a week once because I went off script, and it wasn't even like the worst thing that like I had ever done with that script. We were coming out of scene 5, which is where the electrical barge is.
Yeah.
So coming out of scene 5, going into unload, and like as we go under the boat, you know, like everyone's cheering, "Call off the Marines, we're coming home!" And then like everyone's cheering, and then suddenly I just kind of looked to the side of the boat and go, "Look, a shark!" And then like everyone kind of screamed and like looked, and I said, "I'm just kidding with you." And see, a lot of people did that, but for some reason that was the day that the supervisor A, heard me, and B, was I guess not having a good day. And right after that, he actually pulled me into his office and said, "Okay, I heard you do that, and I'm taking you off boat for a week because of it."
Oh, that's such a bummer.
Yeah.
Like those were the rides I liked the most, is when they went off script.
Yeah.
One time the grenade launcher either wasn't on the boat or wasn't, like, had fallen apart or something. I remember this being a little younger. Yeah, so the guy just mimicked that he was just grabbing grenades and pulling the pin and throwing them.
There was one time I did that, and then there was also another time, and of course this was back before Disney owned Star Wars, so like you could kind of get away with this. You would use the Force. So just kinda, so like you're going in scene 2 and like those mortars are happening, and like you just kind of just like hold your hand out, kind of like shake your wrist a little bit, and then actually there's a story about the grenade launcher that I have. I was on a boat. It was like a busy summer day, and there was a family in the front row, and one of the kids in there was a special needs kid. Like, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what was going on with him, but like, but like I know that he could not sit still. He was like constantly moving. Like he was there with like his family, and his dad, who was sitting right next to him, reached over that little partition there and grabbed my grenade launcher and handed it to him.
Okay.
In the middle of scene 2 when I need it.
Oh God.
And so of course, like I'm trying to keep doing my spiel, but at the same time, I'm trying to, let him know, hey, I need that back. And also I want to say the family didn't speak English. So like I had a lot of things going against me, but on that grenade launcher, there's a little green button on the back. And that button is actually what triggers the sound effect that goes over the speakers, like the sound.
I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
Well, a lot of people don't, but apparently this kid did.
Oh.
because the dad picks this thing up, hands it to him, and suddenly he's pressing the button. So like,
boom, boom, boom. It's World War II over here.
And I mean, part of me is like really upset because I need this brought back. And of course, like the guests are kind of laughing. And really, I wanted to laugh too because it was pretty damn funny.
Yeah.
And like, I think that once we got in the boathouse, I think I finally got the grenade launcher back. But I mean, there was a span of probably 30, 45 seconds where like my brain's going, I'm not going to get this thing back.
No. And you start thinking, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
Saying, hey, a shark got me off the boat for 1 week. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, man. Yeah, it is a bummer though that a lot of those. Well, now we know the word for it, spielers.
Yep.
It's a bummer that so many of those are being replaced by in the current attractions. And you don't get any of that at all, and that is a real bummer.
It's not just Universal doing it as well, though, is it? It's Disney as well. Yeah,
well, but at the same time, I mean, I don't think the Spielers are ever going to leave like a Jungle Cruise or a Great Movie Ride. I mean, well, actually, Great Movie Ride with the new version, they still have Spielers, but a lot of it's pre-recorded.
Yeah.
So maybe that is being phased out, but I don't think Spielers are ever going to leave Jungle Cruise. That's just kind of, it's kind of what makes that attraction. In the same way that like if Jaws was still open, it could never lose Spielers, just because it's what makes that attraction.
Yep. I'm going to jump in because Tracy sent some questions in because she wasn't here, and it seems the prime time to ask it because we're talking about retro attractions. But you said you worked Back to the Future.
I did for about one day. Yeah, because working in ride and show, you would often be asked to do something called rescuing, which would mean that another attraction would be understaffed and your attraction would be overstaffed. And so they said, well, we don't need you over at Jaws. Can you come over to another attraction? So I worked random rescue shifts at Back to the Future. I did like a day at Men in Black once. I did a couple days at E.T., Twister, Spider-Man. And Back to the Future was actually a very, very fun day. And it's really because we were put in a normal operation rotation. Because usually whenever you rescue, they put you a greeter. They like make you sweep the queue. They, like things that need to get done, but things that they don't really have to give you like a lot of direction to do.
Yeah.
But for Back to the Future, we were actually put on a cars rotation, which meant that we were actually going in between a couple of the car chambers and getting people in. And I know on the DeLoreans, underneath one of the wheel wells, there were two buttons. One lowered the lap bars and one lowered the doors.
Okay.
And you would be kind of running back and forth between a couple rooms, and like I think you may have even been running in between domes. Just to make sure like that all got done. And it was a very, very fast-paced day. I want to say it was like a 10-hour shift too, and it zipped by. It just went by so quickly.
Oh yeah.
And I think out of all the rescues, I think like that was the most fun I ever had. And surprisingly, another one that was a lot of fun, which I never would have guessed because I'm not a huge fan of the attraction, Twister.
It seems like it would be actually like, yeah, doing the right operation on that. Yeah. Every other aspect of it, like going to it.
Yeah. Well, because we were in scene 2, which is the actual Twister scene. And
awesome.
so we're in the raincoat and like we have that, that what is it, like that flashlight with the orange cone on it. What's that called? That thing.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. You worked it.
The people mover.
I have no idea.
I know, but this was probably like, I don't know, 13 years ago, maybe? I don't know. But once those doors open, like the tornado sirens are going, it's all windy and loud, like you're just kind of yelling at the guys, come on, folks, down this road, we gotta get going now. And just for some reason, that was just so much fun, and like it actually kind of let out a little steam and kind of yell at the guests, but politely yell at the guests.
It seems to be that it's because it's that interaction with people.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be like the stuff that you've talked about, that you worked, the things that you enjoy, the stuff that is interacting with the guests.
It is true, and I mean, even with the Fear Factor, I mean, as a video technician, and actually, really, as a technician for tech entertainment, you really don't get to spend that much time with the guests. But Fear Factor, it was kind of built around spending time with guests, especially the editor position that I had over at Fear Factor. That was pretty much your job was to hang out with the guests. I don't know how well you guys know like the structure, like how the Fear Factor live show operates.
I'm going to hold my hand up and say I've never done it.
You've never done it?
No,
never.
I've never.
Have you even like seen the show though?
The actual show in the park?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, so let's say like on a normal show day, the show starts at 12 noon. At about 10:50, 1 hour or 10 minutes before each show, they have the casting process, which lasts about 30 minutes, like 20, 30 minutes. And then they take whoever lines up, which a lot of times on the first show of the day was not that many people. So they kind of chose what they had as long as they fit the requirements, which like there was like a specific weight requirement. There was a height requirement. And like you kind of have to choose them, like make sure that they're going to be interesting in the show, but also that they're not going to freak out, at absolutely nothing. Yeah. But then once they were chosen, they would then take them to a trailer, which is located behind that barn that is on stage right, that has the Fear Factor Live logo. Used to be the horse stable for the Wild West Stunt Show. There's a trailer back there, which is where they're going to meet with wardrobe so that they can get into their costumes for the show. But then they also meet with the video editor. And during the show, and Darren, maybe you'll remember this because like I think like you've seen the show compared to Lee, right?
Oh yeah, no? I've seen it a few times.
So there's that bit like at the very top of the show, and like after after the contestants are like coming out on that catwalk up to do the platform challenge where they like hang on to the bars and the platform drop. There's a video that they show that is the 6 contestants saying, "Hi, my name is blah blah blah. I'm from da da da, and I'm going to win Fear Factor because blah blah blah." The video editor is the person that has to edit that segment, and pretty much you bring them back. There was this little like paperwork, like that we went up to each person and said, "Hey, what's your name? Where are you from? Hey, how do you spell that?" Because I mean, like a lot of people spell really obvious names completely random different ways. So want to make sure that that they're being represented properly. Then they would come in with us, and while I'm doing this, they're also filling out all of their liability waivers. So like a lot of them are not really focused on me because they have to just fill out this really long paperwork that says that, hey, no matter what happens to you, that's on you. But they would then take us in, or the casting would then take them into the wardrobe trailer to meet with wardrobe and to meet with me, and then I would pull them into like a separate room one at a time and say, okay, just kind of stand in front of this black curtain here. There's a microphone right here. There's light shining in your face, and I'm going to give you a 3, 2, 1, and just do your thing. Say, hi, my name is so and so. I'm from blah blah blah, and I want to win Fear Factor because. And then I would take all 6 of those, edit them into a template that we had, and export it out to a video file that could then be sent up to the booth.
Cool.
And all of this was in about 15 minutes. It was very quick.
Wow.
And during the dress rehearsal portion of the show, back when we were creating it, which was only about like 2 weeks. I mean, I found out that I was working the show 2 weeks before it opened. And I think the full-time crew there found out like 3 or 4 weeks before the show opened that they were going to work. So I mean, the whole thing happened very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And I remember when they pulled all the people that were doing editing, which like I think on opening crew, I think that there were like 6 or 7 of us that were trained as editors. And I remember the first time we all tried it when we had the components. I think the first try from when we shot the contestants and then got that footage in and then edited it down, it was probably like 40 minutes. It was just really long. But then for the actual edit portion, I think the fastest I ever did it was like 8 minutes, to where I get the people in, get them out, edit it. Because I mean, even though it's a different thing every time, it's all the same. I mean, and especially with like a lot of people, like a lot of them do tend to say the same thing, especially around football season. Hi, my name's Dave. I'm from Tampa, Florida, and I'm going to win because go Gators. I heard that so much, and I mean, just like inside, like I'm kind of rolling my eyes and going, all right, dude, whatever. Go sit down next.
Yeah, because he thinks he's the first person that's ever said it.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
A question for you then, Stephen, right? What something I've always wondered about with attractions like this, what did you do if you didn't get enough people for the show?
In certain cases, we would actually we would either cancel the show, which actually didn't happen much because when you're doing a show like that, there's always kind of 2 departments overseeing everything. You have entertainment, which is the department that I was part of, which, it's the actors, the technicians, it's the people actually running the show. But then you have ride and show or attractions, and they're the ones that are staffing the people in the theater that are kind of guiding everyone to their seat, like the people that are in like those red and black shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that really care about numbers. In fact, there were times that I remember entertainment would say, we don't want to do this show. It's thundering and lightning. It's very, very dangerous, potentially dangerous. We don't feel necessarily comfortable doing the show, to where then they would say, well, we need to get these numbers. I mean, this park is full. We need to get people in this theater. And I mean, at the very least, you can get people in and put a roof over their head.
Yeah.
Right. But then we're going to have some of them hang from a metal bar while lightning's crashing.
Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, in the end, it was kind of always at the technician's discretion. It's like, hey, we don't feel safe doing the show. We're not going to do the show.
Right.
But for the most part, I know that on the operations side, it was always seen that canceling the show is an absolute last resort. Yeah. So if we didn't get enough people for the casting process, which like on a very slow day, January, February, when like we're only doing 3 shows, I mean, the park opens at 9 and casting starts at 10:50, and by that time, I mean, people are going to be riding like at the time they'd be on Jimmy Neutron or Shrek or Mummy. I mean, they certainly wouldn't be by like that side of the park unless they were doing Jaws or Men in Black.
Yeah.
So if we didn't get enough people, we would actually have to go over to the animated characters and the atmosphere characters, like the walk around characters, and like anyone who was on break, they could actually, I think, get out of a set and come over to Fear Factor and actually be a contestant on the show.
That's what I always thought.
Yeah. So if it were a really, really, really slow day, and I mean, I don't know if they have really, really slow days anymore now that Potter's open. But if they did, that first show, it's possible that the contestants may have been Universal team members.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Yep. I've seen them send people towards the front of the park too, trying to get people from casting.
The performer. I mean, for like a 3-show day, so like the shows would be 12, 2, and 4:30. We would have a lunch in between the 2 and the 4:30 show. But our call time was like 9 to 5:30. So for the first 3 hours of the day, a lot of us are kind of sitting around just kind of waiting for that first show. We would do like a queue to queue where like we all kind of go to our consoles and just kind of run through a very truncated version of the show to make sure that all the lifter lines are working, make sure all the video elements are working, so on and so forth. The performers would be in at the same time too. So for the first 3 hours of the day, they kind of had nothing to do. So someone had come up with this idea, hey, why don't we send the host and the producer to the front of the park with like one of the casting people so that we can kind of let them know that, hey, casting is going to be happening at 10:50. If you're excited about this, come on back. And it actually would drum up some people. I know during my time, there was actually a video that I made, and I made it during like my break time, which looking back on it, I'm really surprised that I ever did this because I was essentially doing something for free. If you think about it, I mean, I was on the clock, but I did it, and nobody ever asked me to do this. But it was a video that we played at the beginning of the show, and truth is, I'm not even sure if this video is still playing there. But the last time I saw the show, which was probably about 6 years ago, I had gone down to Florida like in 2009, and I wanted to go back to the parks. Fear Factor was running, and they were still showing this video. It was like a 30-second video that pretty much lets people in the audience know about the casting process. That says if you want to be part of the show, this is the casting booth outside this theater exactly 1 hour and 10 minutes before each show. You need a valid form of photo ID, and I mean it was just a commercial to let people know about the casting. And that was something that I shot by myself, that I edited by myself, and that I narrated by myself. That's my voice on that video.
Awesome.
Nice.
And yeah, like as of 6 years ago, that video was still there. I don't know if it's still there. And there's certainly like no real clips of Fear Factor that are even on YouTube. That like even if they were, they wouldn't show that video.
Yeah.
But
I will check and let you know.
oh yeah, thank you. But I even remember one of the rigging technicians actually coming up to me and saying, hey, like a lot of times after the show, as we're resetting, like guests are leaving the theater, guests will come up to me and ask, hey, so casting, what is that? Where is that? And he was saying that like after I did that video that he didn't have many people ask him that anymore. So with that, I guess it worked. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah. And the way that ended up in the show was actually extremely random because I mean, I really did the thing on a lark, just, cool, I'll do this. I mean, really for me, I love video editing outside of work. So for that, it was like, well, I can sit around and do nothing, or I have this computer here. I can edit on it and make something of it and make my time just zip by. And I remember that I finished the video and I presented it to one of the supervisors for entertainment, and then they said, okay, well, we'll take a look at it. And I mean, it probably sat on a desk for months. And it wasn't until one day that we were doing a Q2Q opening of the day, and two of the entertainment bigwigs were just kind of doing like a tour, just like walking around to like all the attraction or to all the shows, so like us and Beetlejuice and Horror Makeup, Barney, T2, all those. Just kind of say, hey, how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? We're going to come by, say hi. And they stopped by the booth, and I said, hey, since you guys are here, can I show you something? And I showed them the video, and they said, put it in the first show.
Awesome.
Yeah, and looking back on that, and especially working for like other professional entertainment venues, looking back on it, I have no clue how I got away with that.
Right. Yeah, it's just...
yeah, that just doesn't happen. But but it happened there. It worked out for me, and I mean, it could still be in the show. I don't know.
Yep. Now you'd have to have a contract for it and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. One of Tracy's other questions was animal actors. When you worked on that, did any of the animals ever escape?
Yeah. So the way like training for a show happens when you're learning it for the first time, you will do like I think 5 days. First day you're pretty much following your trainer. They're doing all the work, but you're just kind of seeing what they're doing. Second day you're kind of getting on the console for the first time. You'll probably do the cue to cue, but like she'll be telling you, or he or she will be telling you exactly what to do. The trainer I had at Animal Actors was a she. And then third and fourth day, you're running shows, but she's like right next to you. And then on your last day, you're running the show by yourself. And if there are any notes, she'll come over and say, hey, do this. So after my fifth day, I was signed off. I was scheduled for my very first shift on my own. I come in, I do my whole startup procedure. And usually from your startup to the first show at Animal Actors, it was actually like a pretty significant amount of time. Like I'd say it was, I don't know, like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And so I did it. And in our booth, we had like a little couch. So I could just kind of sit on there and I'd read or whatever. And I hear a ruckus on stage. And I go out and I see one of the orangutans, the orangutan that's not in the show, the orangutan that's usually kind of kept on site, but doesn't perform anymore because he's getting up there. Mm-hmm. And I see him on stage. And I don't know how well you guys know the Animal Actors show, but so like the layout of the stage is a like a jungle ruin set. Yeah.
Right.
But there's this one little piece center stage that is this kind of like this stair-steppy kind of rock platform that they that can be moved. I mean, it can be moved out center stage, and usually whenever they have like the dogs come out, like the dog will kind of step up and like stand on there and kind of pose for the audience. Well, I look out on stage and I see this orangutan that's not normally in the show, and he puts his hands underneath the rock platform and just flips it in the air. This thing probably weighs like 40 or 50 pounds.
Wow.
I mean, like it's not super heavy, but like absolutely no effort, just goes and just like bang right on the stage. A trainer is out there kind of like slowly walking toward him. And of course, like I'm not really sure what to do as far as like whether I need to call anyone or whatever. So like I step outside the booth at the top of the theater. He sees me, screams at me, Stephen, get back in the booth, lock the doors, lock the windows. When we're ready, I will let you know.
Oh.
I was locked in there for about 3 hours.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And during this time, this orangutan had, so on the sides of the stage, there's this like cargo netting that kind of goes from the floor to the ceiling. The orangutan had climbed up one of the cargo netting stage left and just kind of hung and just kind of hung out there for a bit. They were kind of exploring all of their options, possibly, like if they needed to maybe tranquilize the animal in like an absolute worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I believe the only people that had access to things like that were animal trainers and animal vets over at Animal Kingdom. So those guys actually had to come out to Universal to help with that. And I remember that on their way there, like I think they blew out a tire.
Oh,
geez.
Yeah, it's like we're like waiting extra long. But it wasn't until one of the animal wranglers with that group who was working as the insect bug guy over at Fear Factor. He had to come over in between shows. And like I remember he walked out on stage, extended his hand out, just kind of open, basically saying, "Take my hand." And he climbed off the net, grabbed his hand, and he escorted him back into his cage.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Really because the two of them had had a rapport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying that was the scariest moment of my life.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, you don't know what they're going to do.
One little yank and your arm's off.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, like the park actually handled that whole situation very, very well. They certainly kept like that area of Kid Zone kind of just blocked off, just like until the thing was really taken care of. I don't know if many situations like that have happened since. It was just hilarious to me that it happened on my very first day on my own.
Yeah.
There were certainly other times in which like they would do like a parrot release, and the parrot would like fly over the audience where it's supposed to come back, and then it would just kind of keep going. Like there's like tall palm trees outside the venue, and the parrot would just kind of hang out up there.
I think that seems to happen in a lot of bird shows, to be honest.
Yeah. And then like in between the shows, like you see the trainers with like these giant nets trying to get him down, and the bird's just like, yeah, keep trying.
Well, we're getting on for the back end of the show. I can't believe how quickly this has actually gone, Stephen.
Right?
This is not going to be the last time we have you on. I will say that now.
Oh, good.
Because I feel we could do this for hours. We've got some listener questions. We'll get them after the break. But I feel that before we go to a break, we need to talk Halloween Horror Nights, because you were a scare actor, weren't you?
Yes, once I was.
Oh, when was that?
That was in 2003. So that was Horror Nights 13, I think.
Yeah.
And I was in the Jungle of Doom house, which was actually not a house. It was outdoors. It was on the Triceratops encounter queue.
Oh, so that was one of the years it was in Islands of Adventure then?
Yes. Yeah. It was, I think, the second year it was at IOA. Because I think 2002 was Islands of Fear. 2003 was the second year it was at IOA. And then I think 2004 it was in both parks.
Yeah, that was the year we went.
Yeah. And I had not been in entertainment that long. I was in college at the time, so I couldn't really work days. I could only work nights. And I figured, well, if I'm going to do a character role, because I'd always been curious about doing it, I figured that like this is the time to do it, especially since it was my last year in college, and that next year I'd probably be working better hours at Universal. I wouldn't really have time to be a character. And so I went through the audition process, and the way those auditions are is that they would bring you in like in groups of 6. And say, all right, I want you to give us like your best like scary person, just and they go like one at a time down the row. And like I think like I got down on my knees and I did like a big like maniacal laugh or whatever. But I guess they liked it, and they kind of had us doing like more or less improv for a little bit, just to kind of see if we really could have fun with the space and explore it. I think it was hard to not be hired as a character.
Yeah, I've got the image in my head of the bit in Shaun of the Dead where they're all stood in the garden doing the zombie bits. And it's like, do it on the night. Yeah,
pretty much. But I had absolutely no choice as to where I was going to be put, and like I find out that that I got cast and that they're putting me in the Jungle of Doom house. And I mean, this was 12 years ago. But I can tell you, Jungle of Doom was nobody's favorite house. And trust me, we knew it.
The title sounds pretty poor, to be honest.
Well, it's like, I think that year they had 7 houses, and Jungle of Doom was definitely the 7th house.
Yeah.
It was like, guys, we need one more house. Well, we got this queue over here, Triceratops encounter. Cool, put it in there. We'll just do something with it.
It was working as a scare actor as intense as I imagine it to be.
It was certainly more fun at the beginning of the night than it was by the end of the night. Just because at the beginning of the night, you have people who want to be scared and people who have not had as much alcohol yet.
Right.
End of the night, people are either tired or drunk, and I can tell you that it's not fun scaring either.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes you're just so tired, like you're just like, just stop scaring me, go away.
I just want to look at this stuff, okay?
And like then for me, like the drunk people, there is nothing worse. And I'm pretty sure there are a lot of scare actors that'll probably echo the sentiment, but there's nothing worse than like having someone, after you try to scare them trying to scare you back.
Oh.
It is like the saddest thing ever. Like you're just looking at this guy going, you're a tool. Go away.
Yeah. That's another one of those, everybody thinks they were the first to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And Jungle of Doom was a little harder as far as some of the other houses because we were outdoors and we were exposed to the elements. And I remember it raining quite a few times that year. Yeah. And they would not, I remember they would not cancel a set or like close down the house until they got everyone that was already in through it.
Oh.
Which meant, and I mean, sometimes like it wouldn't be like, oh, it's starting to drizzle. I mean, sometimes it would just be a downpour out of nowhere. And it took about probably like 10 minutes to walk through that house. And we were in the very last scene. So they let someone through. It would start to rain. They would close off the queue, but the people in the house still had to go through. And then like I think technicians and stage managers had to kind of walk behind them just to clear out the house. And then scene by scene, they would say, okay, go back to the break area. And our break area was behind Pizza Predatoria.
Right.
So I mean, even like leaving the house, we still had a little bit of a walk to get back there, and like there was no real covering back there. So, so like we're just in this last scene, and of course, like my costume was this long, like velvet-ish robe, and so like, I'm just standing out there soaking up water, just.
Oh, jeez.
And of course, like anytime someone comes by, I still have to scare them, but I'm just like soaking up water, just like waiting to be relieved from this set. And then someone would finally come through. It's like, okay, cool, get out of here. It's like, oh, thank God. but then as you leave the house, you have to leave in character because the exit of the house to go back to the Pizza Predatoria area, you're still in a guest area. So like you're kind of running through. And I mean, I remember like I would kind of take that time at like, you know, like as I'm running through, there's still guests running around, and I'd take that time to kind of treat it like a little mini scare zone and run around and just kind of go and just make my way back to the break area until I can find some shade and then go, thank God that was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those rainstorms are bad as well. It's not like a little sprinkling either, is it?
No, it's pretty much just a sudden monsoon.
Yep.
Not fun.
No. I mean, with working as a character, I certainly had a fun time at times, but I was even saying like on the last episode that I did of our show that am I glad I did it? Absolutely. Would I do it again? Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know a few scare actors and it's hard work.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, you could have had some more favorable conditions for sure, but
absolutely
that might have made it a little better. But I can't imagine that shift. Now every night they're open till 1 or 2 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Gates open at 6:30, so I'm sure the scare actors are there at 5 or 5:30 at the latest, getting ready and getting set up.
Yeah. I think that like our call time was about like 5:30, and I was in the B cast, so.
Oh yeah.
So like it was like. And it was like 30 on, 30 off, except for like lunchtime when I think it was like an hour on, hour off. I may be wrong on that.
Yeah, they bumped that up to 45 now. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, that set that you do at 7:00 has to be just as energetic as, or vice versa. Like the set that you do at 2 a.m. has to be just as energetic as that 7 a.m. set or that 7 p.m. set. And that's probably the hardest thing, especially because like by the end of the night, you are just dead tired. You have no voice. You kind of don't want to see guests anymore.
Yep.
But you still got to do your job.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, like this year, this is the first year I've gone, more than once in a row, like I have, and we've been through 6 nights so far, and so we kind of switched it up, going to some houses first and other houses later on in the evening, and then the next day we'll do the opposite. And yeah, that energy level is pretty remarkable. It goes from like a full jump out scare to somebody just stomping the ground and like peeking around the corner. Like, all right, get out of here.
Yeah, I'm done now. Please just leave.
Yeah.
Yep.
My soul, it hurts.
Yeah, that humidity's got to be a killer as well.
Yeah, and certainly that costume didn't help because I mean, like I said, it was it was like being in a greenhouse, kind of. Yeah. You're like pretty much just like this bag of moisture, and of course my makeup was just put as much blood on his face as possible.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like the corn syrup blood; it was like this kind of like weird sticky blood paste. They kind of like would take these like popsicle sticks and just kind of smear all over my face. And like some people would do a little bit, some would do a lot. I remember there was one day that, like my face was just completely red, and. Oh, and when you're sweating and it's humid, actually after a set, after you'd been sweating so much, you would actually come back and like find that most of the blood was gone because like it had just drained down your face to your like shirt. And I think that after that run, I think the cuticles in my nails were like red for like a solid week and a half. And then a couple years later, I worked as a technician on the Arrival show at Horror Nights 16, the Sweet 16 year.
Cool. That was Bloody Mary, wasn't it? Is that right?
No, that was actually all of them. That was Jack, caretaker, director, and storyteller.
Okay.
Bloody Mary, I think, was the year after that because I think my wife worked Bloody Mary.
Okay, right. Good to know.
Yeah. But working the Arrival show, I was the one technician backstage. There were I think 2 technicians that ran that show. There was one who ran like a lighting and audio console as a front of house, and then there was me backstage who was triggering all the props and things like that, which was actually a lot of fun. That was the year, like in that show, whenever Jack came out on stage, there was this blender that was there.
Yes.
That like someone would like stand inside, and pretty much my job was to flick the switch to make it look like that his blood and guts was like being all churned up, and it was fun. But for the caretaker scene, he would have this autopsy where he'd kind of rip someone open and then just pull out all their guts and so forth. And they gave me a lot of props, like a lot of these, entrails and so forth, and these hearts and lungs that were like latex molded on the outside, but they had foam on the inside. And like I asked him one day, it's like, hey, can I like tear these up? And they said, sure, we don't care. And so I took the foam insulated organs, poked holes in the latex, and then I had like a bucket full of water, or like water with like a little bit of the corn syrup blood in it, just to kind of give it like a little bit of a red hint. And I would put them in there and squeeze them just so that the foam would just fill up with this liquid.
Oh, nice.
So that then when they did the autopsy, he would like pull out the heart and squeeze it, and it would just be just a geyser of blood.
Nice.
With
awesome.
that though, once again, like the cuticles were just completely red for like weeks, for weeks after that, just because with the Arrival show, like I think we probably did that scene, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 times a night. So there's a lot of refilling of blood water.
Yeah.
Not something you get to say every day.
No.
Definitely.
Right, we'll cut it off there. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back because we've got some listener questions for you, Stephen.
Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 8th wonder of the world is returning to Universal Orlando Resort. So let our friends at Fairy Godmother Travel take care of the resort reservation. They are a Universal Parks and Resorts specialist, as well as being an authorised Disney vacation planner, and their service is free to you. From the awesome Cabana Bay Hotel to those other hotels run by a mouse, Fairy Godmother Travel can book all your Orlando vacation needs, so you don't need to miss the chance to see the amazing King Kong in the flesh. And please make sure to let them know that you heard about Fairy Godmother Travel because of UUOP. Because every UUOP referral helps us to continue to bring you the greatest Universal coverage. Contact them today by phone at 832-284-4002 or toll free at 888-939-642539 or go to fairygodmothertravel.com.
Let Fairy Godmother Travel make your next vacation magical.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
Right, welcome back everyone, and we now have some listener questions submitted by the Producers Club. So, Darren, would you like to shoot the first one?
Sure. The first one is from Stuart Mallet, and it says, if you could go back and work at any ride for a day, past or present, which would it be?
Well, certainly we were talking earlier about like rescuing it at other attractions, and I really enjoyed working at Back to the Future the one time. I imagine that could be a fun one to work at. Especially because if you ever got to go up to the tower, which I imagine Simpsons is the exact same way, but so like those domes, those theaters, those are 3 levels, and the tower's on the 4th level. Like if you ever walked through the tower, which like if you were working there, you could actually have access to this. You walk through the tower, there's another door that actually takes you out into the dome. That is kind of like a standing catwalk where you look down at all the cars, and you're pretty much just like amongst this giant OmniMax screen with like all the DeLoreans below you. It's actually kind of cool.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really neat. And like with that, like you actually get to hear music cues that you really don't get to hear in the ride. You get to see easily that infamous coffee cup that was left in between the courthouse and the movie theater in the 2015 segment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I would say that an attraction I never got to work that I really would have liked to is probably Confrontation. I had certainly, during my time at Jaws, I had tried to transfer to another Spieling attraction, really just to try something new. And I had tried for Kong, it almost happened, and then it didn't. And then Earthquake, same thing. I had tried, it almost happened, and then it didn't. But Kong just seemed like it would have been like a really cool thing to do. And actually, I had a couple friends in high school that worked over Kong, and even though they weren't there for long, they certainly enjoyed their time there.
going off the back of that question then, Stephen, is there anywhere you would, if you were worked at the park now, is there anywhere you would want to work specifically?
Now, I would imagine Potter could be fun. Working like any of those, and certainly on the entertainment aspect. Even like being a performer, like just walking around Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley, that could be a lot of fun. I'd probably enjoy working at Fear Factor again, just because I certainly had fun there. I don't know if like any of the people that I worked with are still there. Which I mean, like I said earlier, I think that's really the thing that I loved most about working there, was the fact that like I got to work with like a lot of people that I considered friends and just really, really good people.
I don't think your job would be particularly safe if you went back and worked there now, though.
You say that, and I mean, I remember like 7 years ago when like they said like they were going seasonal, and like we all thought, including the people there, were like, all right, okay, we're done. This is it. We're over. And then it came back, and then it kept coming back. So, I remember officially saying goodbye to that attraction 7 years ago.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So
it's the one that sticks around. Yeah.
Yep.
That and ET. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You had to pry them out of their spots. Yep.
Hunter, you finally joined us. Hello, by the way.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Do you want to
I'm here.
Ask the next one then, Hunter?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the next one. What was it like as an employee when rumors were going around about possible new rides? Did employees know ahead of time, or did they find out with everyone else? And that's from Matt Tucker.
Well, with rumors, I mean, I would always kind of joke when I was at Universal that Universal Orlando was like home to the worst kept secrets.
It still is.
Yeah, because I mean, we knew about Mummy, we knew about Simpsons, we even knew about Harry Potter like long before they were officially announced. Having said that, though, we would officially find out about them the same day that the world officially found out about them.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there were certainly rumors. There were certainly rumors that, like, okay, look, just announce this thing. We know it's coming. I mean, even like hearing like what's been going on now with the whole Kong Skull Island thing. I mean, it was so obvious, like that's what it's going to be. Why hasn't it been announced yet? I mean, I certainly get like there are a lot of factors at play as to why they can't just announce something. But as far as officially finding things out, we found out the same day everyone else found out. The one attraction during my time there that was announced that was actually that was a surprise out of nowhere was probably Disaster. That one, I mean, I remember hearing that Earthquake was going to be down for like an extended period of time, but like we all kind of took it as, okay, once it's done, it's going to open back up and it's going to be Earthquake again. And then like I think like a week or two before, we found out actually it's not going to be Earthquake, it's going to be something different. Like, really? And then it opened up and it was Disaster, and it's this completely different thing. It's like, wow, good on them for kind of keeping that one close to the chest.
Wow.
Very cool.
That was actually also another fun attraction to work. I actually got to work as a technician at Disaster a couple times. Like I actually kind of keep forgetting that I worked there too. I was a camera operator in the scene where they're like shooting all the bits with the audience volunteers, and it was the same kind of camera rig that they had over at Fear Factor. So like a lot of us kind of got cross trained over there because we already knew the setup.
Seems to be every attraction we've talked about so far isn't there anymore.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is so funny because, I actually talked with my dad about this. My dad's very first job when he worked at Magic Kingdom, he was working at the Pinocchio Village House, which is still there.
Yeah.
My first job, Jaws, gone. Also, his high school, he went to Winter Park High School. That building is still there. I went to West Orange High School. The high school that I went to has been torn down and a brand new one has been put in its place. So, like, all the things from my childhood are gone, but the things from my dad's childhood are still there.
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of strange.
Yeah.
Right. The next question we've got for you is from Chris Rook, and he said, I'd be interested to know how drivers in the park deal with tourists who sometimes seem to lose awareness of the fact that there are huge, loud vehicles coming down the street and decide to cross right in front of them. The viewing windows sometimes seem small and or obscured by decoration. Do the drivers get any external support, i.e. signs or cameras, or is it a case of always being alert to any potential risks? And did you have any stories of any near misses?
We're definitely going to get back to that near miss.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. I drove the character trolley in the park. I also drove the Madagascar vehicle, which I don't know if they have that there anymore. Used to be this Volkswagen Touareg that pulled like this tractor trailer hitch thing that had all the Madagascar characters on it. And then on occasion I would drive floats for the Mardi Gras parade. With vehicles in the park, they have pretty much a top speed posted in the park, at least, of about 5 miles an hour, which is not very fast.
No.
But you can still do damage if you're not careful, especially on the trolley, because the trolley had air brakes. The guts of the trolley is actually the old parking trams that they used to have when the park first opened, like in the early 90s.
Oh, wow.
They pretty much built like this fiberglass shell around it and like made it the trolley. There were actually 2 trolleys. There was one that was the Kids Zone trolley, and then there was a trolley for Toon Lagoon. But once they decided to take the trolley away from Toon Lagoon, they just had both trolleys there, and like we could kind of choose back and forth. I certainly enjoyed driving the Toon Lagoon trolley a lot more than the Kids Zone trolley. Kids Zone trolley also had like those bubble machines up top that had like disgusting sludgy bubble juice in there. It was awful. But you were never driving too fast, but you always had an escort with you. And at Mardi Gras, that was definitely the case. You always had an escort with you who would stand several feet in front of the trolley or the vehicle and pretty much say, hey, it's okay to drive here. We're going to turn left down here. I'm going to put my hand out. And for the trolley sets, we would drive out the Esoteric Studios gate, the one between Cafe La Bamba and Horror Makeup.
Mm-hmm.
We drive there past Mel's. We would turn down the alleyway that goes in between Shrek and where Transformers is now. Then we turn down Production Central in between Shrek and where Despicable Me is now. Turn down Hollywood Boulevard, past Lucy Tribute, past T2, and then we'd park right outside the T2 gift shop exit. So the people exiting T2 and the Horror Makeup show, there'd be a meet and greet waiting for them right there.
Nice.
So not a huge route, but still, like a nice like a 5-6 minute drive through the park. And that escort there was always there to make sure that people were not jumping up to the trolley, especially like they'd see the Flintstones and Popeye and Olive on the trolley. They would always kind of run up and like try to get an autograph, and like the escort was there to go, no, stand back. Mardi Gras, we also had an escort, to make sure that we were all kind of staying in line, make sure people weren't running up to try to get beads. But a near miss story. Told you I was going to get back to that. A near miss story that I have was actually during one of the rehearsal nights for Mardi Gras. This was back of house after the park had closed, no guests in the park. And we were about to start a run through, and all the floats were parked behind the sound stages. And the entry point, I believe, was that gate that was in between Jaws and Fear Factor, or at that time, Jaws and the empty Wild Wild West Stunt Show Theater.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you would then drive through Amity, down through San Francisco, through New York, and then I think you'd do a loop and you'd end up back at the sound stages. And I had my escort in front of me, and they were trying to take us out, but we're all parked in the parking lot behind the sound stages and going to the perimeter road, which kind of runs around the park, which I think would be underneath where the Hogwarts Express track is now.
Mm-hmm.
There were these like concrete pillars, these like parking stanchions kind of separating the parking lot from the road. And from where they were having us go out, there's probably a gap of maybe 10 feet. Not that big. And I mean,
geez, yeah.
And those Mardi Gras floats are probably like 8 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
So
at least, yeah.
And very, very little room for error. So I'm driving out slow and cautious. I have my escort in front of me. And I pull out onto the perimeter road, about to turn right so we can go down to Amity. And the escort gives me the okay, turn right. And I turn, and that's when I hear a loud crunch.
Oh.
And the molded foam octopus on the side of my float had become married to one of the concrete pillars.
Oh, gosh.
And here's the thing. I don't know whether I turned too sharply. I don't know whether the escort was wrong in saying it was safe to turn. All I know is that I'm the one that got dinged for it. And I did not drive much after that. Now, in the end, it was a blessing in disguise because I never really enjoyed driving the trolley, and certainly talking to my friends who were performers, and even after I left Universal, just kind of chit chat with them. I would always say, it's I never really enjoyed driving the trolley, and they would just look at me and go, "Oh, really? No kidding. Never would have guessed." But
that's got to be so stressful, even for a short period of time. Just always running that risk, even with the spotter, something might happen.
Yeah.
It can be, especially with the air brakes. And actually, one more story about the trolley. This one's actually a good one. we used to do sets with the trolley where like we would do animated characters in the morning, and then after lunch we would do the sets with Flintstones, Popeye, and Olive. So animated characters would be like your Dora the Explorer, your Woody Woodpecker, your SpongeBob, Scooby-Doo, all those. And the way the SpongeBob costume used to be is it would be this kind of square cube that the person would kind of get inside, but the arms of SpongeBob were actually like little fake arms that were on levers. So like their arms would be completely inside this box. They couldn't really grab onto anything. And they were standing in the back section. The trolley was like one long kind of open stage area, but it had like a couple partitions. Like there was a first section, second section, third section, and the characters would be kind of scattered amongst there. And I remember we were turning down Production Central, and I think a guest had like jumped out in front. Like even though we were only going 5 miles an hour, I hit the brakes, which air brakes, that thing stops on a dime. And everyone was kind of holding on. The animated characters, they kind of get really annoyed with that because like their heads are kind of big, like it kind of hurts their necks if like they do like sudden like stops. SpongeBob doesn't have anything to grab onto. SpongeBob apparently started standing up in the third section, ended up upside down in the second section. In hindsight, it's kind of funny. At the time, it was not funny at all. And,
I'm sure.
Yeah. And see, I didn't see this. I just heard about this probably like 20 minutes later when I got back. They said, dude, you know when you hit those brakes, like SpongeBob went like upside down, right? Oh my God, really? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, and yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that makes sense now because I've noticed during some of the parades with SpongeBob and I think the Despicable Me characters, the Minions, I think I've seen them strapped down pretty good up there.
I don't know if I'm the reason that's happened.
That wouldn't be a bad legacy to say that that's the reason. I caused that.
Wouldn't be a great legacy either.
I'd be quite proud of it if it was me, to be honest. I think it'd be pretty cool. Darren, would you like to ask the next one?
Sure. Yeah, this is from Todd Ellsroth. He says, in your time of employment, did you ever come across some frisky guests doing the wild thing, caught in the act, so to speak? And further, where is one romantic place that guests usually get caught making out? I just had to ask.
Yes, Todd, you did, didn't you?
I think he's planning for his next vacation.
Tell me it's E.T. I need confirmation.
I could definitely see E.T. as a being one of those places that you could do that. The truth is that I do not personally have any stories of catching guests in the act. That being said, I certainly have heard stories. And and most of them come from, believe it or not, Rock the Universe.
Oh.
I totally believe it, actually.
That doesn't
There's
surprise
just
me.
something about kids at a
Jesus
Christian
music.
rock concert that just causes them to be kind of the worst people.
Okay.
I call it the Footloose syndrome.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And that I've heard stories of like guests being caught during Rock the Universe in the bushes in Kid Zone.
Oh.
Yeah. Which, like, dude, there's bugs in there. What are you doing? Really though, at Universal, like I feel like it's kind of hard to be caught, like especially on rides, because like a lot of the rides there, they're either simulators or like you're with like a large group of people. Whereas like at Disney, I know there's certainly a lot of places you can kind of hide and do that. Because I mean, like the Omnibus rides, like a Haunted Mansion, and a friend of mine, like a really close friend of mine, I know when he worked at Haunted Mansion, he said that there were no cameras in there.
Nope.
It's funny, actually. We have a friend who used to work at the Haunted Mansion. He said he once found a used prophylactic 20 seconds into the Haunted Mansion.
Wow.
Yeah. That ride turned him on.
Those darn spirits.
That is probably the worst kind of speed record. Now going back to the episode that we were talking about earlier on my show, and like when my folks are working in Tomorrowland, they certainly have stories about the Wedway. Actually, I think it's what you were teasing.
Yeah, go on, say it. I love it.
Yeah.
The Wedway people maker.
Yeah, but other than Rock the Universe, I unfortunately don't have too many stories for that, which is either a good thing or a bad thing, I guess, depending on how you look at it. It's probably a good thing that I don't have too many stories.
I can tell you one place currently that is not a good idea is the Hogwarts Express train. There are cameras in each one, and when we were riding it, I think it was a couple of months ago, a voice came over the intercom that goes over the entire train, and we'd just like to remind everyone that there are cameras in every booth, and you are being filmed. Like you are being monitored. So please refrain from any activities that would be deemed inappropriate. Thank you. It was
You just see this guy pull his cocaine pouch out of his pocket.
Oh no! You see, if I'd have got off that attraction at that point, I would have had to have looked and find out who it was, because you'd know straight
That's
away.
why you're looking at everybody. Yeah. It's like, who looks the most embarrassed here? Okay, it's you.
Wow.
And it would be so obvious as well.
Yep.
Going back to the to that Wedway story a little bit, I'd heard something. I don't think it was from my parents. Like, I think it was from someone else I know that I worked at Wedway. That in the Space Mountain Tunnel, there are like those infrared cameras headed there. And apparently you would see heads suddenly disappear or like go into someone's lap. And that when they would come back to the loading station, the cast members there, team members, whatever, they wouldn't do anything. They would just kind of give a slow clap.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Things really came to a head. I gotcha.
And did you want to go ahead and ask the last one?
Sure. Okay. So what changes, good and bad, did you see during those years working at Universal? And that's from Melanie Brookbank.
I would say that when Nickelodeon closed, I know like that was kind of like a sad thing personally for me, just because I remember when the park opened in '90, I was probably 6 years old when the park opened. And so having Nickelodeon there was like a really big deal. And like that was my childhood. And I mean, I even got to go and like see tapings of Double Dare and What Would You Do and Legends of the Hidden Temple and all those. And I was the last technician trained over at Game Lab. Because I was I was doing trolley, I wasn't enjoying it, and like I had asked, hey, is there any way that I could be trained on something else? And they said, well, there's an opening over at Game Lab. It's like, okay, cool, we'll go over there. And like I had a blast working Game Lab. The people there were just so much fun to work with. A lot of them ended up going over to Fear Factor because Game Lab actually closed right before Fear Factor opened. So like a lot of us just kind of transferred over. But I remember getting the call saying, hey, there's an emergency meeting today. And it's actually very similar to what happened at Disaster. That, like they had heard hey, there's an emergency meeting, which is usually never a good sign. It usually means, especially in entertainment, it means that your show's about to close. And the writing had kind of been on the wall just because we had a production office that was actually for Nickelodeon. It was actually for the network. And it was only a few people. They're pretty much just kind of still keeping their presence despite the fact that the sound stages hadn't really had anything in it for a very long time. And they had moved out of their offices. And we were all kind of getting nervous. But then like we were told, hey, production's leaving, but we are staying here. We are staying here. A couple of weeks later, we had the emergency meeting. And when all was said and done, I did 88 shows at the Game Lab. That's it. And we would probably do like 10 shows a day. So it was not a lot.
No.
But I would always say that my childhood was at Nickelodeon Studios. And then by the time that I officially became an adult, I guess, I had to close my childhood.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really dark and sad when you think about it.
It is. That's heavy. Yeah.
But I remember the last week we were there, especially like once like production was like clearing everything out, went over into the soundstage, which is where Blue Man Group is now. And the soundstage was just completely empty except for a large like trash container. And I kid you not, Olmec from Legends of the Hidden Temple was right there. The puppet Olmec was there.
Oh, God.
About to be thrown away. And I'm looking at this going, this is not fair.
Yeah, right.
However, I would certainly say that after I left, just kind of seeing all the things, especially with Potter, I mean, that park seems to be doing just so well, especially like after we left. Because I feel that the acquisition of like having Potter in the parks and like even like when they built Transformers and all that, I mean, they just seem to be one really solid decision after another. Yeah. So it definitely, because for the longest time, especially when I was there was always that whole kind of competition with Disney, even though it was never written down that we're competing with Disney. Our slogan for the longest time back of house was "We will win," but then we would always ask, "Well, what are we winning against?" Because we're not, in public competition with Disney, right? And then they would say, "Oh, we'll win." It's like, okay, so I mean, it was kind of obvious, like we were always in a competition, and I mean, for the longest time there was like no competition. I mean, because I certainly knew people that would travel from out of town to go to Orlando, they would go to Disney, and if they had time, they would go to Universal. No one ever came to Orlando just to go to Universal, but it seems like that's changed now, which is awesome.
I'm testament to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but you're a little biased, though. No?
A little, but you could say one affects the other.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Stephen, we are definitely going to have you on again.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
But next time it is your wife's turn.
Yes.
Because I really need everyone to hear her Barney story.
Yeah.
We'll tease that one out there.
Yeah.
So
she has a lot of great embarrassing stories, especially about working in costuming for entertainment.
Yeah. Cool. Right. So before we wrap this up, Stephen, would you like to let everyone know about your podcast so they can go on?
Absolutely. My wife Tiffany and I host a show called Extended Q. We are a bi-weekly theme park podcast where we do trip reports and news, but we also like to share a lot of our stories from working in the parks, as well as even being kids growing up in the parks. And we do flashbacks to like older attractions. And actually, our next episode, I didn't even say this on our last episode, but I will go ahead and give kind of a spoiler announcement here. Our next episode is going to be a flashback to Back to the Future: The Ride.
Woo-hoo. Awesome.
Which I think, Darren, you're happy about that because I know that you love that ride.
Very, very happy about that.
Yeah, you've gained one new listener at least.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yay. But you can find us at extendedq.com. That's extendedquue.com. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/extendedq, and on Twitter at extendedq, one word.
Awesome. It is really good. I've just started listening to it and gone back and listened to all the ones from the beginning. I especially like the Jurassic Park episode because that's kind of what we like to do with Universal and Disney, and you did it between Hollywood and Orlando. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, and we actually did a similar ride battle episode before last where we compared the California and Florida versions of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad over at Disney.
Yeah.
And then definitely, I mean, even though I had some stories about being a character at Halloween Horror Nights here, we go into a lot more of it on our last episode. Tiffany had this idea to like do this segment called "So You Want to Work at a Theme Park," where you like talk about individual jobs and like the things you'd have to do. And like Tiffany did one about being a costume technician, and my buddy Jacob and I did one about being a character because I did Horror Nights, and then there was a year-round haunt here in Vegas called Goratorium that he did. And he actually has worse stories than I do about being tackled by like a visiting college football team during a scene.
Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, definitely go and check it out because it is great. And I'm not just saying that because Stephen's on here. It is one of my favourites, I'll be honest.
It's okay, you can be honest.
I am honest. Cool. Right. Well, that's going to wrap up the show. Don't forget, our meet is, as we're recording this, actually 4 weeks today. If you're listening to this next week when it comes out, it's 3 weeks until our Orlando podcast meet. We haven't got there yet. It's at 4 o'clock on October the 27th. We will meet at an unyet decided attraction. Guys, we need to work out where we're going to meet at. I think it needs to be in Islands of Adventure this time because we did the studios last time. And then we'll be heading over to the kitchen for the kitchen challenge. Hunter, is there no way we can talk you into it this time?
There's no way I'm spending that amount of money to do that, no.
But then, as I said to you last time, the incentive you've got is to finish it, and then you won't have to pay for it.
You see, that doesn't work, no.
So you can either join in the kitchen challenge with us or just grab something to eat there and watch us all, destroy ourselves.
If you want to lose your appetite.
Yeah, you probably won't want to eat.
I'll put a link to the event on the Facebook page in the description of this, or you can email us at podcast@uopodcast.com. But I think we've just had one person pull out of the challenge. Ryan, who threw up last time, bottled it this time.
Good. I want to see that again.
Yeah, no. But yeah, email us if you want to join us and let us know, because we need to let the kitchen know how many people are doing the challenge. And if you've got kids, it's not a problem because they are doing a kids one, because our youngest is doing it as well.
That's just one Brussels sprout.
And they've actually got back to us and said what it's going to be, but I'll leave it for now.
Save it.
Yeah. Darren is still asking for your best maniacal clown laughs for his Halloween Horror Nights competition. Darren, have you started looking at prizes for that yet?
Yes, I have. And if you know, Halloween Horror Nights this year has like pretty much the largest merch lineup that they've ever had. So I'll definitely get you something cool from there.
Awesome.
But yeah, we'll cut that off before let's say a week before the meet.
Okay.
so that I can pick somebody, and hopefully they'll be at the meet and I'll be able to get it over to them.
Cool idea. Brilliant. Yeah, all you need to do is record us a little MP3 of some crazy. We've had some crazy ones in. That's all I will say. And email them to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com, or go over to speakpipe.com/uuopodcast and record them there. You can still sway the vote in our top 5 worst attractions at Universal Orlando and make Stephen a little happy with Fear Factor not being as high up as it currently is.
Oh, good. Yeah.
By emailing us your top 5 to podcast@uuopodcast.com. So for Stephen, Darren, Hunter, and the absent Tracy, I am Lee, and this has been the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast.
Well, that wraps up another unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube. Just search the word UUO Podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so if you've seen something hilarious in the parks, let us know for our Funny Schmidt segment. And if you've had a great experience with a team member, we want to hear about that too. So to get in touch with us, email us at podcast@uuopodcast.com or record us a message at speakpipe.com/uuopodcast. Please subscribe to us on iTunes and rate and review the show. That would be amazing. Not an Apple user? No problem. You can find us on Stitcher, at uuopodcast.libsyn.com, as well as many other podcast apps. And don't forget to check out our sponsors, Fairy Godmother Travel, for all your Universal vacation needs. Head over to our partner site, micechat.com, for even more theme park news, and check out micepod.com. So until next time, be adventurous.
This has been a micepod.com presentation.
MiceChat.